Walk into any truck dealership today and ask about monthly payments on that gleaming F-150 or Silverado sitting under the showroom lights, and the finance manager will smile warmly while pulling up calculators and loan worksheets. They will talk you through various term lengths, interest rates, down payment scenarios. They will show you how choosing the 84-month financing brings that monthly obligation down to a number that seems almost reasonable. Maybe $650, perhaps $700. They will assure you this is affordable, that plenty of people with your income level drive trucks just like this one, that you deserve reliable transportation and modern features. Then they will slide the papers across the desk and point to the signature lines. And if you sign those documents believing you now understand what this truck will actually cost you, you are making a financial miscalculation so catastrophic that it will quietly drain tens of thousands of dollars from your life over the next decade. That monthly payment, the figure they focused your attention on, the number they carefully engineered to seem manageable, represents barely half of what this truck will actually extract from your bank account. The finance manager knows this. The dealership knows this. The manufacturer definitely knows this. But nobody sitting across that desk has any incentive whatsoever to explain the full financial reality. Because if you truly comprehended the complete cost of ownership before signing, you would walk out of that showroom immediately and never return. So let me show you exactly what they are hiding. The real numbers that transform what looks like a reasonable transportation decision into a financial catastrophe that will cost you more than your mortgage. Start with that monthly payment itself, the $700 you agreed to. Multiply that by 84 months, because yes, you just committed to making truck payments for 7 full years. Longer than most people stay at a single job, longer than most marriages last anymore. An entire human child could be born and start elementary school in the time you will be sending money to the bank for this vehicle. 700 times 84 equals $58,800. But you are not financing $58,000. The truck's purchase price was $52,000. Where did the extra $6,800 go? That is interest, the profit the bank extracts for loaning you money to buy a depreciating asset. And we have only just begun calculating the real cost. Now add insurance, because you cannot legally drive without it, and your lender certainly will not allow an uninsured vehicle securing their loan. For a modern truck worth $50,000, carrying the comprehensive and collision coverage your loan requires, you are looking at minimum $200 monthly, often significantly more if you are under 35 or have any blemishes on your driving record. $200 times 12 months times 7 years adds another $16,800. We are now at $75,600 total, and the truck is still sitting in the dealership parking lot. You have not driven it a single mile. Fuel costs next. Modern trucks advertise impressive fuel economy figures, 19 miles per gallon combined. Maybe 21 if you buy the expensive hybrid model. But those are EPA estimates generated under ideal conditions that bear no resemblance to actual driving. Real-world fuel economy in a modern truck averages closer to 16 miles per gallon. When you account for city driving, cold starts, air conditioning, hauling cargo, towing, all the things people actually use trucks for. If you drive 15,000 miles annually, a conservative estimate that is actually below the national average, you are consuming 938 gallons of fuel each year. At $4 per gallon, that is $3,750 annually, $26,250 over 7 years. We have now reached $101,850, nearly double what you thought you were paying, and we still have not covered the costs that really hurt. Modern trucks require maintenance on schedules that would have seemed absurdly frequent to previous generations. Oil changes every 5,000 miles using expensive synthetic oil, and proprietary filters because conventional oil voids your warranty. Tire replacements every 40,000 miles because modern trucks are heavy and low-profile performance tires wear quickly. Brake service every 50,000 miles because regenerative systems in hybrid models and the sheer weight of these vehicles accelerates pad wear. Transmission fluid services, differential services, coolant flushes, engine air filters, cabin air filters, battery replacements, wiper blades, the endless parade of routine maintenance that dealerships insist must be performed at their service departments using their premium-priced parts to maintain warranty coverage. If you follow the manufacturer's maintenance schedule religiously, having all services performed at dealership rates, you will spend approximately $1,500 annually on routine maintenance alone. Over 7 years, that adds $10,500. But this assumes nothing breaks, nothing fails outside normal wear parameters, no check engine lights appear, no unusual noises develop. That assumption is fantasy. Modern trucks are engineered with specific components designed to fail at predictable intervals just outside warranty coverage, and when those failures occur, the repair costs are staggering. The diesel particulate filter in that fuel-efficient diesel engine clogs at 70,000 miles and requires $2,000 replacement. The high-pressure fuel pump grenades at 85,000 miles, sending metal contamination through the system and necessitating a $6,000 fuel system rebuild. The dual-clutch transmission starts shuddering at 60,000 miles and needs a $4,500 service. The turbocharger wastegate actuator fails at 90,000 miles, requiring $3,500 turbo replacement. The continuously variable transmission in that hybrid model disintegrates at 75,000 miles and costs $11,000 to replace. These are not worst-case scenarios. These are common failures, documented extensively in technical service bulletins, predicted with statistical accuracy by mechanics who see the same breakdowns weekly. Over 7 years and roughly 100,000 miles, you will experience at least 2 of these major component failures, conservatively adding another $8,000 to your total cost of ownership. We are now at $120,350. But there is another category of cost, one that hurts differently because you never see it itemized on any bill. Yet it represents the single largest financial loss you will experience with this truck. Depreciation. That $52,000 truck loses 20% of its value the instant you drive it off the lot. A $10,400 evaporation that occurs before you reach the first stoplight. During the first year, it will lose another 15%, $7,800. By year 3, it will have lost half its original value. By year 7, when you finally make that last payment and own it free and clear, the truck will be worth maybe $15,000 if you maintained it impeccably and it has no accident history. You paid $52,000 and received back $15,000 in residual value. The depreciation cost you $37,000. Add that to our running total. $120,350 plus $37,000 equals $157,350. This is what the truck actually costs over the 7 years you financed it, not the $52,000 on the window sticker, not the $58,000 you will pay the bank. $157,350. And that figure still does not include registration fees, property taxes in states that charge them, parking costs if you work downtown, tolls, car washes, or the opportunity cost of what that money could have earned if you had invested it instead of spending it on rapidly depreciating transportation. But here is where the situation transitions from merely expensive to genuinely devastating. At the end of those 7 years, after spending $157,000, what do you actually own? A 7-year-old truck with 100,000 miles that needs new tires, probably needs brakes, might need suspension work, and is statistically approaching multiple expensive component failures. The interior is worn, the paint has chips and scratches, the technology is outdated compared to current models. And because you financed for 84 months instead of paying cash, because you were underwater on the loan for the first 4 years, you had no flexibility to escape when problems developed. You were trapped, forced to keep making payments on a depreciating asset while watching repair costs climb. Now compare that catastrophic financial outcome to a different approach, one that requires patience and discipline, but delivers results so dramatically superior that the contrast seems almost unbelievable. Instead of buying that $52,000 new truck, you save $7,000 cash. You search local private party listings for a 2008 Silverado or F-150, specifically targeting models with the simple V8 engines and traditional automatic transmissions. Trucks built before manufacturers started engineering planned failure points into every system. You find one with 140,000 miles, owned by someone who maintained it consistently, has records proving regular service, and is selling because they are downsizing or no longer need a truck. You pay $7,000 cash and drive it home. This truck requires no monthly payment. You own it completely from day one. Insurance costs plummet because you only need liability coverage, not the comprehensive and collision your lender would demand. You are now paying $70 monthly instead of $200, a savings of $130 each month, $1,560 annually, $10,920 over 7 years. Fuel economy is slightly worse than modern trucks, maybe 14 miles per gallon instead of 16, but the difference costs you only about $500 more annually, $3,500 over 7 years. Routine maintenance is cheaper because you can use conventional oil, because parts are abundant and inexpensive, because you can perform basic services yourself, or use independent shops charging half what dealerships demand. Annual maintenance averages $800 instead of $1,500, a savings of $700 yearly, $4,900 over 7 years. And here is the crucial difference. When components fail on this older truck, the repairs are simple and affordable. No diesel particulate filters to clog, no high-pressure fuel pumps to grenade, no dual-clutch transmissions to rebuild. The failures that do occur, an alternator, a starter, a water pump, cost $200 to $400 and can be replaced in your driveway using basic tools and YouTube tutorials. Over 7 years, you might spend $3,000 on repairs instead of $8,000. You save another $5,000. Now calculate the total cost of ownership. $7,000 initial purchase, plus insurance, plus fuel, plus maintenance, plus repairs. The 7-year total is approximately $43,000. And at the end of those 7 years, you still own a functional truck worth roughly $4,000 if you decide to sell it. Your net cost was $39,000 compared to $157,000 for the new truck. You saved $118,000, enough to pay cash for a house in many markets, enough to fund a retirement account that would grow to $500,000 by the time you retire, enough to completely change your financial trajectory. But the financial calculation, as dramatic as it is, still does not capture the full cost of modern truck ownership because there are dimensions of cost that cannot be measured in dollars. The stress of carrying that $700 monthly payment, knowing that missing even one payment triggers late fees and credit damage. The anxiety of watching that check engine light illuminate, wondering whether this will be the $200 repair or the $5,000 catastrophe. The frustration of discovering that your truck has been reporting your driving behavior to insurance companies, causing your rates to increase despite your clean record. The violation of learning that manufacturers can push software updates that change how your truck operates without asking permission. The loss of freedom that comes from knowing your vehicle can be remotely disabled if you miss a payment, or even if a government agency decides your truck should not be operational. These psychological and autonomy costs are real, even though they do not appear on any spreadsheet. You purchased that modern truck believing it would provide reliable transportation and maybe some pride of ownership. But what you actually received was a constant source of financial stress and a surveillance device that reports your movements while remaining under corporate control despite your making payments faithfully for years. The older truck, the one that cost $7,000 instead of $52,000, provides actual ownership. It goes where you drive it, operates as you configure it, and answers to nobody except you. There are no payments hanging over your head, no corporation tracking your location, no remote kill switch, no planned failure points engineered to generate service revenue. Now, the truck industry and their marketing departments work extremely hard to prevent you from making this comparison. They have convinced millions of people that buying used means accepting someone else's problems, that older trucks are unreliable and dangerous, that you need the latest technology to be safe and competitive. These narratives serve the industry's profit interests, not your financial well-being. The reality is that trucks built between 2004 and 2010, before the complexity explosion, before the surveillance infrastructure, before the planned obsolescence engineering, are more durable and more repairable than anything sold today. They have modern safety features including airbags and stability control. They have adequate power and capability for any reasonable use. They simply lack the financial extraction mechanisms that make modern trucks so profitable for manufacturers. When you understand the real cost of modern truck ownership, when you calculate the complete financial obligation rather than focusing only on that carefully engineered monthly payment, when you factor in depreciation and insurance and maintenance and repairs and the opportunity cost of capital, the decision becomes obvious. You can spend $157,000 over 7 years to own a surveillance device engineered to fail expensively. Or you can spend $39,000 for genuine ownership of a durable tool that serves your needs without drama or exploitation. The difference is not marginal. The difference is life-changing wealth that either builds in your accounts or evaporates into corporate profits. And which path you choose right now will determine your financial reality for the next decade and beyond.